Stephanie at Southern Oklahoma Library System, and today I'm joined with my good friend Rudy, and he's going to assist me in our shadow story time today. So we are going to start off by reading The Dark, Dark Night by Christina Butler. Frog was very excited. All winter he had been asleep under a stone, and now that it was spring, he was on his way back to his pond. And on the way, he bumped into Badger and Hedgehog. Then he played leapfrog with Rabbit and Mouse. Suddenly, he saw that it was getting dark, so he borrowed a lantern from Mouse, and off he went through the woods to the pond. Woo-hoo! The wind blew in the trees, and squeak, squeak went the lantern as if it swung from side to side. And the dark was all around. And when Frog reached his home, he put the lantern down behind him, and he was just about to jump into the water when he saw a huge black pond monster. There it is! It had enormous claws coming out of the reeds. Do you see his enormous claws up here? Frog grabbed the lantern and hopped as fast as he could back through the woods. "There's a huge monster in the pond," he cried. "Are you sure?" laughed Hedgehog. Frog nodded, trembling. "All right," said Hedgehog calmly. "We'll have a look together." "And I'll come too," said Mouse. Off they went through the woods. Woo, went the wind, blew in the trees, and squeak, squeak went the lanterns. "Wait for me," cried Mouse, and the dark was all around. Soon Hedgehog and Frog reached to the pond. "Now," said Hedgehog, "where's this monster?" "There it is," cried Frog. It was bigger than before, with enormous claws and terrible spikes down its back. "Run, run," cried Hedgehog. "Pond monster, pond monster." See that huge pond monster? You'll see its spikes on its back. "What's all of this?" chuckled Rabbit. "A monster. There's no such thing as monsters." "Come on and see for yourself," said Hedgehog, shivering. "All right," said Rabbit, "I will. I'll never swim in my pond again," sniffed Frog as they set off through the woods. And woo, woo, blew the wind in the trees, and squeak, squeak went the lanterns. "Wait for me," cried Mouse, and the dark was all around. It wasn't long before they were back at the pond. Rabbit, Hedgehog, and Frog tiptoed to the water. And there it was again, the big pond monster. And it was bigger than ever. It had enormous claws, terrible spikes down its back, and two big horns, and wildly waving arms. You see its big horns, and all of its arms just waved wildly everywhere with its huge spikes. "Run for your life," yelled Rabbit, racing back through the woods with Hedgehog and Frog close behind. "What's going on?" asked Badger. So they told him all about it. "Come along," Badger said. "I like to see this monster of yours." And off they went once more. And woo, howled the wind, and squeak, squeak went the lanterns. "Wait for me," cried Mouse, and the dark was all around. As they reached the pond, a huge gust of wind came through the trees and blew out all the lanterns. "I can't see a monster," said Badger at last. "That's because it's too dark," whispered Frog. And they all stood waiting in the moonlight for something to happen. Just then, Mouse caught up with the others at last. "Yoo-hoo!" she shouted, waving from the bank. Rabbit, Hedgehog, and Frog looked at Mouse, and they looked at the small black shape waving from the reeds. "Look at that," said Hedgehog. "That's not a pond monster," said Rabbit. "That's Mouse's shadow," said Frog. "I can't believe it," said Badger. "You were running from your shadows every time." The four friends laughed and laughed and laughed. Hooray, cried Frog. There's no monster after all. And with a huge, happy splash, he leaped into his lovely pond at last. The end. Thank you, Rudy. Big round of applause for Rudy and his help today. So the next thing we're going to do, we are going to do robot shadow matching. So we're going to put up all of the robot's shadows and see if we can match the robots to them. All right, so our first robot, can you see our robot? Has a rectangle head and his arms are pointing down. So let's see if we can find it. Does it match that one? No, that's more of a square head. What about that one? No, that rectangle's too skinny. What about that one? Good job, his head matches that one really well. So we're gonna put that robot right there with his shadow. Here's our next robot. You seen? He has a round head and his arms are pointing up. So let's see if we can find his shadow. Is it that one? No, because it's not round at the top. What about that one? No, it's too long at the top. What about that one right there? Good job, that one matches perfectly with his round head. Our next one is a robot with a skinny rectangle head and a curly piece of hair on top, and his arms are pointing down. So let's see. Is it this one? No, that's not a curly piece of hair, and his arms are curly, so that can't be it. What about that one? Good job. That one has curly hair with arms pointing down. Our next one has a rectangle that goes up and down, and his arms are pointing down. And he has little screws that come out of his head. So let's see if we can find him. Is it that one? No, because those are swirly and these are straight. What about that one? Good job. That one matches. What about this one? He has a rectangle head and swirly things coming out the side. Does it match that one? No. What about that one? No. How about that one? Good job. And our next robot looks like this. He has a rectangle head, like a little hat on top. So let's see if we can find his shadow. Is it that one? No, that one has two eyes on top. What about that one? Good job. And what about this robot? He has a skinny rectangle head, and he has two balls at the top and two coming out the side. See if we can find his shadow. Is it that one? Nope, that one doesn't have anything coming out the sides. So it's that one. Good job. And our last robot has swirly little arms. He's going to go right here with our very last shadow. Nice job, kids. We'll take him down. The next thing we're going to do is I have a bird matching sheet. So we're going to match these birds with their shadows by connecting them with lines. So here, this one has an eagle and his wings are flying up in the air. So which one of these birds should I draw a line to? That one. Good job. We're going to draw a line right there and connect them. Our next one is an owl. Do you see his ears sticking up? Can you find a shadow that has the same ears sticking up? It's that one. Good job. So let's connect it. The next one is a penguin. He has his beak sticking out and his little wings right here sticking out. Can you find the penguin shadow over here? Good job. It's the bottom one. So we'll connect him. The next one's a chicken. Can you find the chicken shadow? Look for his feet over here. Good job. And our next one's a little seagull bird. Can you find his shadow? Yep, he's the last one left up here at the top. Good job. So, the next thing we have is a let's play shadow point. So if your kids are at home, you can get a flashlight and you can show the shadows on the wall and you can do this little poem with them. And it says, let's play shadows in the sun. I can make my shadow run. I can make my shadow crouch down small, or I can reach it up very tall. Good job. I can make my shadow jump around, jump, 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 or do patterns on the ground. So they can lay on the ground and they can make a straight pattern or a round pattern like that with their shadow. My shadow is weary. See him creep, slowly curl up and go to sleep. So then you're going to get back down on your knees and you're going to curl your shadow up and go to sleep. Good job. So now I have some more shadows that we can play with for a second. And one thing you can do with your children at home is you can always just shine it on a wall. But if you want them to put on like a little puppet show, you can take a cereal box and you can turn it long ways and cut out the front of the cereal box and put wax paper on the front of it. And then your shadows will shine through the front of it and you'll have a little puppet box. But today we're just going to shine them on my whiteboard. So this is our astronaut flying through the air. And if you'll go close, your shadow gets bigger. And when you get back further, your shadow will get smaller. So it's bigger and smaller. The next one we have is a rocket. Your rocket can fly through the air with your shadow. And again, it gets bigger. The further your flashlight goes away, it'll get smaller. Then we have a butterfly. Smaller, bigger, smaller. And then we have a dragonfly. And we have Saturn. There we go. Good job. So now, if you're at home, you get out your scarves or a blanket or a tea towel or a wash rag, and we're going to sing some songs with our scarves. So our first song will be my scarf has 4 corners. Sorry, forgot my phone. There we go.
I have a lovely scarf song to share with you. My scarf
Put your
has
scarves
4
up.
colors, and there is a surprise superhero verse at the end. Here we go. My scarf, it has 4 corners. 4 corners has my scarf. And had it not 4 corners, it would not be my scarf. 1, 2, 3, 4. My blanket has 4 corners. 4 corners has my blanket. And had it not 4 corners, it would not be my blanket. 1, 2, 3, 4. My pillow has 4 corners. 4 corners has my pillow. And had it not 4 corners, it would not be my pillow. 1, 2, 3, four corners has my cape. And had it not for corners, it would not be my cape. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good job. So our next one is called popcorn song. So you're going to take it and roll it up in your hand.
Hi guys, this is a really fun scarf song that we learned from Anna at Future Life.
All my songs today are from the girls from Jib Berry, and you can find them on YouTube.
It's just a ton of fun. It's called the popcorn song, and it's our new favorite song to do with scarves. So we'll do it 2 times for you. Here we go.
Here we go.
Popcorn kernels in the pot, in the pot. Shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, till they pop, till they pop.
Good job.
Ready?
One more time.
Popcorn kernels in the pot, in the pot. Shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, till they pop, till they pop.
Good job. And our last song, you don't need your scarf for, and it's this slippery snake.
Hi everyone. We've had some excellent feedback on our video, went the little green frog. And we've also had some people send in a bunch of new verses for us. So if you are up to the challenge, we're going to bring you 5 new verses to take your story
5 verses
to
today.
the next level. All right, here we go.
Went the slippery snake one day. Went the slippery snake. Went the slippery snake one day. And they all went. But we know snakes go shooby-dooby-doo, shooby-dooby-doo, shooby-dooby-doo. We know snakes go shooby-dooby-doo. They don't go Wiggle waggle went the little starfish one day. Wiggle waggle went the little starfish. Wiggle waggle went the little starfish one day, and they all went wiggle wiggle wiggle. But we know starfish go wavy wavy wave, wavy wavy wave, wavy wavy wave. We know starfish go wavy wavy wave. They don't go wiggle wiggle wiggle.
The next one is a fluffy penguin.
Waddle, waddle went the little fluffy penguin one day. Waddle, waddle went the little fluffy penguin. Waddle, waddle went the little fluffy penguin one day. And they all went waddle, waddle, waddle. But we know penguins go splish, splash, splash. Splish, splash, splash. Splish, splash, splash. We know penguins go splish, splash, splash. They don't go waddle, waddle, waddle. Cheep, cheep went the little yellow bird one day. Cheep, cheep went the little yellow bird. Cheep, cheep went the little yellow bird one day. And they all went cheep, cheep, cheep. But we know birds go flappy, flappy, flap. Flappy, flappy, flap. Flappy, flappy, flap. We know birds go flappy, flappy, flap. They don't go cheep, cheep, cheep.
Our last one's a monkey.
Went the little brown monkey one day. Went the little brown monkey. Went the little brown monkey one day. And they all went But we know monkeys go swing-a-ling-a-ling. Swing-a-ling-a-ling, swing-a-ling-a-ling. We know monkeys go swing-a-ling-a-ling. They don't go ooh, ooh, ooh. And if you can keep it together better than me, then I applaud you. So.
And that is our shadow story time today. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next Thursday. And don't forget, you can watch all our videos on YouTube and fill out your census. Thank you. Bye-bye.